brand Riddell, but we are now in the next model. And Riddell, for whatever reason, likes to keep people on their toes and wondering what's going on. So they didn't use a whole lot of change in terms of the name, but it is a totally different model. And this is the SpeedFlex. And it comes in a box like this. It has this flap that just shows the crown of the helmet in it when it's in the box. It is not, of course, for any kind of display, etc. Okay? But that's what a SpeedFlex will come in, is this box. So, again, it has the plastic bag in there as well. And so this is the SpeedFlex. Now, it's a little different than the Speed because they incorporated some changes. So the upper face mask connectors are now here more off to the side. Now, all these changes and innovations have been done by football helmet companies. In this case, these are the changes that Riddell's made to help try and prevent concussions. But as a collector, this is the crown jewel of helmets in terms of, if you're looking for something to blow away the football fan in your life and you want to spend a little bit of money, this is your choice right here, because this is a definite conversation piece and definitely something that looks absolutely fantastic in an office, on a shelf, at home, in a man cave, with all your other stuff. This is the crown jewel of what you're going to have. And you can take these, there's plenty of room, get them autographed, things like that. If you do any of the fall camp stuff where you meet players, whatever, you can get them to sign these things. They work great. If you use a paint pen, etc., they works fantastic. You can use Sharpies, but sometimes, depending on where you display the helmet, sometimes Sharpies will fade a little bit. Paint pens usually last a little bit longer. In any case, this has the SpeedFlex version, so I believe it's like an SF, S2BD, SWSP. It's a slightly different nomenclature, but it's basically the exact same face mask as the others, just made for SpeedFlex because it has to look a little different because of how it's attached. And so, as you can see on the Speed, the face mask attachments are here for the top and in the front, whereas here there is no attachment right here on the face mask. It is here on the side. So there's these two here. Now, these also have the very authentic, you can see it here, quick release attachments. So these are meant in an emergency situation on the field to, if you need to get to a guy's face or something of that nature, you can quick release this. It's also meant to be faster for equipment managers, etc. And so you push this little thing in the middle and it pops loose, and then you take them out, and then you put the next mask on and you push down on the outer part of the silver and it clicks into place and it holds it steady. This is also comes with their base chin strap, but it does have the ratchet on the side. It's not fully functional, but it is the setup that looks authentic. Again, this is something you can upgrade. So if you want the helmet and you want an actual authentic ratchet chin strap, maybe you want it to be maroon, maybe you want it to be gold, to really make your helmet pop, we can do that. In addition, they, on the front bumper, have the Commander's logo on the front bumper, and we can again get this upgraded to 3D bumpers. We can get those, and then on the back, you see the Washington on the back bumper. You also see the warning sticker, and again, the NFL Shield logo. That also comes, as you saw, on the authentic Speed. So these last two helmets, the Speed Authentic and the SpeedFlex, are basically the same type of idea for the consumer and the collector. The difference is that this is a Speed model and this is a SpeedFlex model. As you can see, the ear holes are slightly different, where the vent holes are in the helmet are slightly different. The other thing that is immediately noticeable that's different about a SpeedFlex is this panel here. And this was an innovation made so that if there's contact here to the front, this panel gives a little bit, therefore absorbing the impact and spreading it out on the helmet and through the padding on the inside. And then that is supposed to help reduce impact and reduce concussions. There is another model newer than this that they do not have as a collectible model, but we can get them if you really want to spend that kind of money. You can get them, and then it's called the Axiom. It is being used on the field. They have now taken this panel, and it's now basically in 4 places. So there's a panel on each side and a panel on the back that all does the same thing. So it's meant to give a little bit and absorb the shock from the collision. In any case, the interior of the SpeedFlex has all the padding, including the liner. My last few years as an old man, well, in my early 40s playing semi-pro ball, which is basically just rec league football, I wore a SpeedFlex when they first came out. I absolutely loved it. It was so comfortable, and I felt like I was wearing a Cadillac on my head at the time. And I never had any issues. I was an interior lineman, which may surprise you looking at me physically. But again, it wasn't anywhere real. It was just rec league football. But I wore it and loved it. So these helmets are amazing. Again, these are going to be a bit more expensive. This helmet here, this one retails for $720. So, and that's because it's the satin maroon. Now, most SpeedFlex will retail for around $650 to $675, depending on where you're buying it from. So you should be able to find them for that. I know that's a little bit expensive. They don't get sold a ton, but these are an absolute crown jewel to your collection. And if you spend a few more extra bucks on top of that and get a hard cup chin strap with the different color, really makes it kind of pop in through here. You can customize your collectible helmet, and then, it'll be amazing. A couple of years ago, for my son, who's a huge Colts fan, I gave him I created a SpeedFlex that was exactly the kind of helmet that Peyton Manning was wearing, or I'm sorry, Andrew Luck. He's younger, right? He loves Peyton, but Andrew was his dude. So it was an Andrew Luck helmet. We put Andrew Luck's numbers on the back. We put the bumpers that the Colts were wearing at the time, and we made it look, use the same face mask Andrew would wear, and created basically an identical Andrew Luck helmet. And that's what I gave him for his birthday or Christmas, one of the two. Anyway, so those are available. And all those upgrades and stuff are things we can do. So in any case, now, Riddell has announced that there will be a new helmet that will be added to the mix as of this summer. We have them now on our site for pre-sale. We do not have all of the images yet, so the images are showing the SpeedFlex helmets, but it is going to be a SpeedFlex model. Again, brand Riddell, SpeedFlex model. It's going to be called a midi, so it's a mid-size helmet. And what it's essentially going to be is a helmet that is in between the size of a mini and a replica. So these are about 5 inches tall. It's going to be, I believe, around 8 to 9 inches tall, if I'm not mistaken. There are some images out there that you can find of it. And they will be price pointed between getting a mini and getting a replica. So it'll be around $100 is what we're hearing. Those will be available. Riddell has said that they're going to be shipping those in late July. And so you can order yours now so that it's one of the first ones that we get shipped out. So if you want a midi, you can see the stuff at our website at helmetnation.com. Click onto either the NFL or the NCAA. For the NFL, all 32 teams will be available. For the NCAA, there are 15 teams that are available as of right now for the midi. So in any case, that will be added. And as soon as we can get our hands on one, we'll do another video of that for you. So in any case, that is the 4 different types of collectible helmets and the 4 price points for those. Again, you have your mini helmet, usually around $31, $32. You have your Speed replica, Remember, it looks like this on the inside for about $150, $155, somewhere in there. You have your Speed Authentic, which again looks like a real helmet, and it's around $350 typically. And you have the SpeedFlex, a different model, again, and this is about $650. So those are the main ones. Let us know if you have questions of what you might have questions about in terms of collecting and how you'd like to do things. Some people like to collect just their team. So in other words, they might have both of the mini helmets for the commanders, and then they might have the replica and authentic and the SpeedFlex, and then that's their collection, and they set it up in their man cave and it looks great. Other people like to collect conferences, divisions. Maybe if you're a Commanders fan and you want to have something up in your man cave where you have the NFC East division, and so you have a Dallas and a Philly and a Washington. Why is the NFC East eluding? Dallas, Philly, Washington. Crap. I sound like an idiot. In any case, if you want to have the NFC East in there, you can get a division set up and have that. Some people might want the whole set, so you can buy a full set of NFL mini helmets and you'll get all the standard ones. If you'd like to switch one out, you can let us know and we can make that happen. So all of that stuff is available. And like I said, we can help with upgrading your helmet itself by adding different bumpers, different chin straps, different visors. All of that stuff is available. Again, we don't always have it on the website because there's so much variety out there and so many different things available that it's really hard to keep up with it. But that doesn't mean that we can't get it done for you. So in any case, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, follow us. There'll be more videos coming. We'll talk about custom helmets next week, and we'll get into how these 4 models can become customs for something you want to do, what is possible and what restrictions there are, things that we might not be able to accomplish. We'll cover all that and everything else. So in any case, hope you've enjoyed this video, and hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.